So what's his story? Obviously a very wealthy man. So he doesn't look like a killer. So this is an episode called Justice, which in a way you could probably title every Highlander episode Justice, because in some way, some sense of justice comes through in this. And then a Highlander episode opens with a sword fight. How unusual. F. Braun was the sword master for all of my episodes. He knew every type of weapon, every type of position. He was complete in his knowledge of the stuff. Coal Hull Fencing Club, that's my son's name again, just to let you know. That's try to get that in as many episodes as possible. That's Justina Vale. She has a very cool presence, which was very nice for this episode.
I don't think we've been introduced.
Now we have.
Very severe look on her. It worked very well for her character, who she was, what she was all about. This is a location up in Saint-Germain-en-Vie, it's called, just outside of Paris. And the place is called Le Pec, I believe. And it used to be part of, one of the Louis' land, and this is what's left of this location, but the land used to stretch all the way about another 5 miles to the Seine. It's incredible. So now we've got these three elements coming together. I love this kind of little illusion shot going through the water with the little girl, because she's entering into a world. She's entering into a world that's very mystical and beautiful, but is also dark and dangerous. And so now she goes off into the woods. And so there's this woman who we've seen is a little bit on a mission, and we have them having their little conversation here. Are these people going to collide? Are these people, that woman and this little girl going to meet? Well, this haircut was the brainchild of Marla Ginsburg, one of the executive producers. Marla Ginsburg's very fashion conscious and everything, and somehow it was her kind of brainchild that should have this very severe kind of thing. I thought it looked good on Justina. I wasn't too thrilled with the bangs, and we were always trying to do something with them. But since this is what we like to call the Highlander Babe shows, because they were trying to find a successor for Adrian, and they were thinking of a woman Highlander. So basically, it was a test run for several actresses I think there were about 5 of them, and this was my personal Highlander Babe show, as they called it. First time we did this shot, the crane came down, and as Adrian was turning around, it nailed him, just nailed him. He wasn't impressed. Again, Adrian's wearing his white thing as he's made his this kind of transition into a different Highlander form. Justina worked damn hard with the sword. She's quite a slight woman, and carrying that big sword, they had it specially made for her, so it'd be lighter, as light as possible. But it wasn't easy for her. But hey, she's doing her stuff. She did it quite well.
Why are you trying to kill Armando Baptista?
Because he killed Elena.
This is one of my favorite sections. We go into Buenos Aires.
She was my daughter.
Or what's supposed to be Buenos Aires.
I found
and we shot all these moments I wanted all these moments in slow motion.
Barely surviving.
Because this is about, an immortal can't have children, but this is about an immortal who adopts a child. and then she grows up. So the child gets older as she stays the same. It's about the love of your child, something the immortals are never supposed to have. This was kind of loosely described in the script. I added a kind of thing. I wanted a birthday party. Here's the next phase, where the girl is now having her 18th birthday, and the people are applauding her. So then she gets older and older while she stays young. It's kind of confusing, but in Highlander land it works. She is the kind of pseudo daughter who had to grow up to become like her older sister and then her younger sister and all this kind of thing. And basically she's been shot by her husband, the guy Justina's trying to kill. And so that little girl would actually kind of be her grandchild. Confused yet? But it's one of those kind of things that works so well in Highlander. I mean, you really have to wrap your head around it. And I think that's probably what fans kind of really enjoyed about these episodes, is you had to, it was a lot of, intricacy going on. This actor is named Grant Russell. He's a marvelous British actor. And he does this just unique kind of Spanish accent. Because his real accent is, he's very kind of soft-spoken, and he's a very kind of nice little guy. He talks like this, and then he puts on the accent, and it's marvelous. He is very good.
Kat is in town. Find her, and dig up all you can on Duncan MacLeod. Okay, sir.
I've never been a huge fan of Steadicam. A lot of directors do, and they swear it's faster. I don't think so. And I prefer especially for a show like this, I prefer the kind of elegance of the moves of a dolly. It's smoother. It's more sensuous.
Why is my life so important to you, huh?
All life is important to me, Mr. Baptista.
I guess that's one of those other changes, for Adrian's character and everything. All life is important to me, Mr. Baptista. It's taking him out of the dark and darkly heroic into the more, I guess, angelic heroic. It's a beautiful location. If you think it's easy finding Buenos Aires in the 90s in the outskirts of Paris, yes, it is. But we found this incredible location that could have been plunked right out of somewhere in South America.
I think I taught you do well, no?
What time is it?
For a scene like this, it's kind of important to get a little bit of a master kind of feel, just to establish the geography. But it's kind of like the little subtext things that are going on that are kind of very interesting, the looks between people, because this is all about things that are hidden and under, the little undercurrents of attraction and so everyone's looking at everyone. It's kind of, it's a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
How could you do that to me?
I love how they use the music from another episode I did called Duende, and use the music from that episode in here.
What are you doing?
Oh, it worked. It worked beautifully.
You know he'll find out. They always do.
Good reaction. That woman is a French actress named Diane Bellagio, I think, if I'm saying that right. I like this one too, with the kind of Buenos Aires feel, and this fellow who was actually was some kind of tailor or something, and a friend of the producer, Ken Gord's, and he had this great face and everything, but Ken had a way of bringing in these few kind of interesting people who were also in some kind of business. Maybe he was getting free jackets. I don't know. So his wife is cavorting in the bed with the youngie, and he's pulling out a gun. I opted for red sheets because you can't show a lot of blood, and so I thought the red was a kind of good enough symbol in its own for blood. there you have it. I think we put some a safety thing on the actual camera lens itself, but certain safety procedures in Europe, shall we say, aren't maybe quite as stringent as they are over here, where you'd put up a ton of Lexan and do that kind of thing. I had another incident in another episode where we were doing a rehearsal and a gun was supposed to go off and hit the actor in the ass, and in the rehearsal the gun was loaded and went off. The blank went off, and I was just saying, first of all, mate, don't point the gun right at the actor. Point it off a little bit. I can't tell from the camera position that you're not pointing there. And also, I didn't want an accident to happen and be the guy who went down in history as killing Roger Daltrey, the lead singer of The Who. So I didn't think it would look very good on the old resume, you know what I'm saying?
What did you want me to do? Kill myself, huh?
See, there's a kind of great move you can do with a dolly, that kind of rock up and in, that gives it kind of such an energy and anger to his words.
How can I kill my little girl's father when I've already killed her mother, huh?
I haven't come here to tell you what to do or how to live your life. That's your choice.
Maybe that's the new Highlander there. He says that's your choice and everything like that. He just doesn't, go ahead and whack him, We went heavily into shooting it for dark here. We probably, pissed off a few people in the post situation, but her whole thing was about being in darkness. She was holding so much pain and so much anger and everything that I wanted just this face hovering in a void. Thought it made it very interesting for her. The whole point of this episode is the absolute horror of losing one's child. And as a father, I can think of nothing more abhorrent than losing a child. It's just I don't even want to go there. And so the motivation I needed for this episode was I go home every night to my apartment in Paris and see my kid lying there and sleeping, and that was about all that gave me a kind of chilling motivation for this show. And I talked to Justina about seeing my kid or what my kid had done to try to get her into that idea of what just how incredibly awful that could be. So this is the
So how old are you?
only love scene I ever shot on Highlander, but I didn't want it to be just a love scene. This was about this woman who had so much anger and so much tears in her that this was an ultimate release. And so we shot it on the barge, and we put a rain effect over it and pumped the light through the skylight to create this kind of this dreamy and lovely, but it's a wash. It's with tears, and at the end of the love scene, she cries. So I kind of had a little. It had to have a point. Of course, when Adrian first got there and saw that I'd placed the futon underneath the skylights, he kind of got all uptight and said, "What's going on here?" And so I had to explain to him this whole little moment, and then Adrian was fine with stuff like that. Boom, transition. We're into England in the 14th century. This again is shot in a location called Abbaye Notre Dame de Val, an incredible 13th century abbey, deep in a forest, magical forest out on the outskirts, 50 miles from Paris. This has a really beautiful quality. The cinematography in this section is really kind of interesting. Of course, we filled the place with atmospheric smoke. And everything, we wanted everything in earth tones and hues, so that it was almost had a monochromatic look to it, The hair coming down really softens her look so beautifully, and I think some people were feeling that haircut was a bit too severe on her. I think it would have also made her character a little more sympathetic from the get-go. See, here's this kind of look again with pump smoke like crazy into this place. And you can see the background structure. This was used in another episode I did called Armageddon. And I love this room. Watch him slap right here. Just smack the shit out of him. It was great. They were actually old friends. Their families had known each other for years, so they found themselves playing opposite one another, and it was kind of neat. See the simple, understated production design of this thing. The most lovely woman in the world, Chantal, who was the production designer. And she would do so much with so little. You know, we get into a place and very simple elements, and bang, you've got the 14th century.
He wants to meet you tonight at dinner.
Oh, no.
We did the rain. The rain was, echoing the crying, the love scene, tears, all that kind of metaphors and everything. And then in post, they beautifully added all these mysterious lightning flashes.
Let us proceed with the evidence.
See, with the costuming and the sets and everything like that, it really gets into like little Vermeers and Rembrandt kind of paintings. I mean, look at these guys. We kind of lined them up and got the character faces, and it just it captures a little bit of that mood. He was wonderful, Godfrey. I mean, he's like typically classically trained British actor, straight out of Stratford, kind of feel. He's just playing to the balcony.
I am innocent, your lordship.
Look at that voice. Holy shit.
You will be taken to the quarry at dawn. There you will be stoned until you are dead.
Like in Vancouver, we could create, Nazi Germany and bunkers and stuff like that, but this would be much harder to create, without lots of money, lots of set building. Here, everything, old is 100 years old. Once the props man wanted to put a sign on a door for me. He was going to nail it in. I said, "What are you doing? You're nailing it. That's a 300-year-old door." I said, "What you want here? Where do you want it?" And everything. And I said, "But that door is 300 years old. You're going to put a nail in it?" And to them, it's like, there's a million 300-year-old doors there. They don't care. So now she's on the hunt again. Even lovemaking with Adrian Paul does not sway her from her appointed duty of getting this guy. Her clothes look great here. She was kind of taking over the dark Highlander mode, the long coat and, just, the bangs. What's with the bangs? And then we come around. Nice big close-up, and again, him, this kind of, the conscience on the shoulder kind of image. Any move like that, you need the right kind of people operating it. We had very good dolly and camera people. So now she's going to challenge him to a duel, do it the proper way. Grant had to work hard at this. He knew nothing about sword fighting, absolutely nothing.
This is insane.
Yeah, the opening is a duel, and then it comes around at the end to another, kind of duel, this time for his life. But it's over pretty quick. And she's about to slash his throat when...
Mia! Go away! Go away! Get out!
That was a little hard to get out of that little girl, that papa, because I wanted to rush in on the dolly and everything like that. And finally, I'm sorry, but I screamed at her. I just, as the dolly's going in, I just screamed, "No!" And she just jumped and went, "Papa!" And finally it worked, but it took about 7 takes. So she's come to a realization, she's come to a decision, and it's basically that her granddaughter,
Mia loves him.
she loves her father. So how can she take that love away? That's the whole point. She's lost, but everyone's lost.
We lose friends, and we lose lovers. It always hurts.
But no one should ever have to lose a child.
and there's the point, but no one should ever have to lose a child. I heard someone say once that when your child dies, you die. You merely survive it. And I think that was my overriding kind of thing, you know, kept in the back of my mind all this time. It's about survival. Some good emotion in that one.